Most of the structures that occur in algebra consist of a set and a number of rules for combining pairs of elements in the set. We formalize the notion of a rule of combination by defining a binary operation on the set S to be a function. So for each ordered pair AB with A, B, and S, the functions alpha produce a unique element of alpha composed, inputted with A and B of S. It is better notation if we write A star B instead of alpha A comma B and refer to the binary operation as star. Of course, binary operations abound. How many chapters is this? Pages. Only 50. Only like 11 pages. I can read that. Around bound, one needs to think no further than addition or multiplication, such as Z, Q, and R, or composition on the set of all functions in a given set. The first algebraic structure of interest to us is a semigroup, which is a pair S and an operation consisting of a non-empty set S and a binary operation on S which satisfies the associative law. If comma A star B comma if paren A star B paren in paren out paren left paren A star B right paren star C equals A star left paren B star C right paren for all A comma B comma S in S. If the semigroup has an identity element, an element of B as such that A star B equals A, which equals element B star A for all A and S. This is called a monoid. Then it's called a monoid. Finally, a monoid is called a group if each element alpha A of S has an inverse, i.e. an element A inverse of S such that A star A inverse equals E, which equals A inverse star A. Also, a semigroup is said to be commutative if AB, a commutative group is called an abelian group, thus semigroups, monoids, groups that form successive in narrower classes of algebraic structures. These concepts will not be illustrated by some familiar examples. Examples of semigroups, monoids, and groups. The pair of integers with the addition operation and the pair of rational numbers with the addition operation and the pair of real numbers are groups where ordinary addition. 0 is an identity element, and inverse of x is negative x. Next, consider Q star dot where the dot denotes ordinary multiplication, and Q and R the sets of non-zero rational numbers and real numbers respectively. Hence, Q star the identity being 1 and the inverse of x being 1 over x. On the other hand, is only a monoid, since the integer 2, for example, has no inverse. Zm plus is a group where m is a positive integer. The usual addition of congruence classes is used here. It's a group where m is a positive integer. Here is a set of invertible congruence classes modulo m such that the greatest common divisor between a and m is 1, and multiplication congruence classes used. Note that the magnitude, the cardinality of the m star equals phi m, where phi is Euler's function. I don't understand that. If n and R be the set of all n by n matrices real entries, if the usual rule of addition of matrices used, we obtain a group. On the other hand, m and R with matrix multiplication, it's only a monoid. To obtain a group, we must form a set of all invertible or non-singular matrices. Said one verbal or non-significant those not determined is called the general linear. These are all invertible or non-significant. Those non-determined. This is called the general linear group of degree n over n. Now, of a semigroup that is not a monoid, you look no further than where you say, well, you can just put it to no any element here. The monoid function is set. Let A be a non-empty set and write function A for the set of all functions alpha and A. Then is a monoid where is a functional composition. Indeed, this is binary. Set of all functions alpha and A. I don't know exactly because there are words in alphabet X. Here, X is a non-empty set, and a word in X is just a typical elements of X written for convenience without parentheses. In the case, I go there is an empty word. There is an actual binary operation in juxtaposition, and thus if I was making between monoids and state output automata. Monoids. Suppose that A equals ISV is the state output automata, then go set I state set as the next state function V I cross S goes to S. Then A determines a monoid MA in the following way. Let I be an element of I and S be an element of S, and we define theta ISS by the rule theta IS equals VIS. Now, the identity function in all composite define sequences of thus MA is a function including M as a monoid with respect to functional composition. Function called the observation of supposed to start with a monoid. The size of the group can be regarded as a measure of the amount of symmetry present in the symmetries at the heart. Is that hard geometric notion is not supposed that geometry provides many interesting examples of group. Bijective function defined in the three-dimensional space of the plane is called an isometry. It preserves distance and points. Natural examples of isometries are translations, rotations, reflections. Now that X be a non-empty set of points in group space. We will for X as a geometric configuration and isometry alpha, which fixes the set X such that called symmetry of X. Note that symmetry can move the individual points of X. It is easy to see the symmetry. Like the functional composition, that is the symmetry group S of X of X. This is the symmetry group of a regular n-gon. As an illustration, let us analyze the symmetries of the regular n-gon. This is a polygon on the plane with n equal edges and greater than 3. It's convenient to label the vertices of the n-gon 1, 2 through n so that each symmetry may be present by a permutation of 1 to n by an element of Sn. Each symmetry arises from an axis of symmetry of the figure. Of course, if you expect to obtain a group, you must include the identity symmetry presented by 1, 2 through n. There are n minus 1 anti-clockwise rotations about the line perpendicular to the plane of the figure, and to the central for the angles I 2 pi n, for I equals 1 through 2 through n minus 1. For example, the rotation through 2 pi over n is represented by the n cycle 1, 2, 3 dot n. Other rotations correspond to the powers of this n cycle. There are n reflections in axis symmetry in the plane. If n is on such axis, one of vertices limit one to the opposite edge. For example, 1 through 2 and 3 n minus 1 corresponds to one such reflection. However, if n is even, there are two test reflections in an axis joining a pair of opposite vertices and an axis joining midpoints of opposite edges. Thus, in all, there are 1 over 2n plus 1 over 2n equals n reflections in this case too. Since all axes of symmetry of the n gon have not been exhausted, we conclude the order of the symmetry group is 1 plus n minus 1 plus n equals 2n. This group is called the dihedral group of order 2n. Dihedral 2n. Notice that dihedral 2n is a proper subset of Sn if n2n is less than n factorial. Penetrated and enforced not every permutation of vertices arise from a symmetry where n is greater than 4. Elementary consequence of the axioms begin this section by noting 3 elementary consequences of the axioms. The generalized associative law. Let x1, x2, xn be elements of a semigroup S star if an element U is constructed by combining the elements in a given order using any mode of bracketing, then U equals dot 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 x1 star x2 star x3 star xn, so that U is independent of the position of the parentheses. Every monoid is unique identity element, every element is separate within the universe. We argue by induction on n, which can be assumed to be at least 3 if U is constructed from x1, x2, and xn in that order, then U equals to V star W, where WV is constructed from x1, x2, xi, and W from xi plus 1 through xn. Here, 1 is less than I is less than n minus 1, then V equals x1 star x2 all the way through star xi by induction on if I equals n minus 1, then W equals x1, and then the results follow at once. There's always true for this. Yeah, I mean, all from any special form from elements x1, x3, xn was then movement again, it's inclusive everyone's so that they did not ambiguous speak of their name and all that equals true. I gotta work on my upper back, bro. This is not good. My upper back from the neck. It is important to decide when two groups are regarded as essentially the same. It is possible two groups have very different set, but their elements behave analogous with respect to the two group operations. This is a difference of isomorphism of G and AP. Two multiplicative groups and isomorphs to one G as a bijective function, such that alpha xy equals alpha x times alpha y for all x, y, and g. Those groups G and AP. Here is that while the elements of an isomorphic groups may differ, they should have the same proper relation to the respective groups in particular isomer. If x times a equals b, then x equals b times a and a. From x a equals b, return x a inverse equals b a inverse equals x a into x equals b a inverse second say one do so further than not to show that y inverse is check correctly x y inverse. Multiplication table group. Suppose that G is a group with one order and its elements are ordered in some fixed manner. So you have G1, G2, G, and the group operation of G can be displayed as a multiplication table. This is an n by n array, and it moves every J entry is Gi, Gj. So you might throw a pen with Gi1, and G1, Gi2, Gi2, from that's all that are different. It's true of all the content of this means the each group numbers A belongs to each one zero line square. Studied 10.4 example for switch group represents a permutation on the permutation. This is the client for groups mentioned like the multiplication from a photograph. Power of group elements, the x being an element of multiple group and the n being an integer, the nth power x and x is going to correctly as follows. X be an element of a group of G and let m and be united in an xn equals xn plus n equals xn plus xn. Xmn equals xmn. Or if you show that x bar s equals x r plus s for r, that's clear. We have x r x plus 4 x r x s x equals x. That's complete reduction. Take one, but very negative one. And everything about x equals x. First one it said was I want nothing. I'll take a look on that. Such a I should get some another chapter in. Another half chapter. First one to settle is that one has the any element of S star prime equals 1G. Indeed, 1S equals 1S star prime. 1S equals 1S star 1S. So that 1S star 1S equals 1S star 1G. Equals IG. Next, let S and X and S denote the inverse of X and S. Right? So that X is now that 1G equals so the same as G and G prime. On the basis equivalent from a Korean test for a subset of a group to be a subgroup, let S be a subset of group G, then S is a subgroup of G if and only if the following was. Example of subgroups, these statements follow at once. We did one for the same reason. We call it A as a set of even permutations. And here's a point to note is that that's what I said on the set of the on subgroup that contains that name of G itself so that we may form the intersection of all groups of G. Let's get it there. All right, I read the chapter, kind of like shittily, but I read it. I'm tired right now.
Upwork to hire a WordPress developer? I'm going to try using Upwork AI.
I feel like eating a piece of bread. Mm.
I think the notion that business applications exist, that's probably where they'll all collapse, right, in the agent era.
Microsoft CEO Satya Nadella said apps as we know them are going away in favor of agents. And this is a huge statement. He basically put a flag in the ground showing where the future of software development is going. No more applications, which means no more SaaS, which also means likely far fewer developers. So let's watch the video and I'm going to break it down for you. So this is on the VG Squared podcast. I'll drop a link to the full interview down below.
SaaS applications or biz apps. So let me just speak of our own dynamics thing.
Right.
The approach at least we're taking is, I think the notion that business applications exist, that's probably where they'll all collapse, right, in the agent era. Because if you think about it, right, they are essentially CRUD databases with a bunch of business logic.
Okay, I'm going to pause there because what he just said might sound like no big deal, but it is actually a stunning proclamation of the future. What he essentially said is that SaaS, and that means software as a service, is essentially just a thin UI layer on top of a database. And when he says CRUD, that means create, read, update, destroy. Those are the base units of interactions between an interface and a database. So create a new record, read, extract information from the database, update, make a change to an existing record, and destroy, delete. So all he's saying is there's going to be the underlying database, the fundamental data of what you need, and then it's going to be agents that are interacting directly with the database. And if you've been watching this channel at all, you know I've been talking about this for a long time. I truly believe the entire application stack is going to disappear. There just really is no need for it when you have artificial intelligence interacting with the core grounded data that sits within the database. And again, what does that actually mean for the entire SaaS industry? What does that mean for application developers? I don't know exactly, but I have a feeling it's going to look vastly different than it looks today. And I've been in SaaS my entire career. I have built multiple SaaS companies. I've worked for SaaS companies. And if I'm being transparent, I probably wouldn't start another SaaS company right now. And I probably wouldn't invest in any SaaS companies right now either. It's just too unknown. Now, that isn't to say there won't be software companies in the future. It's just going to look drastically different. Let's keep watching.
CRUD databases with a bunch of business logic. The business logic is all going to these agents. And these agents are going to be multi-repo CRUD, right? So they're not going to discriminate between what the backend is. They're going to update multiple databases, and all the logic will be in the AI tier, so to speak.
I'm so excited to show you this video. This 3.5-minute video might be the clearest depiction of what the future of software engineering is going to look like. Now, when he's talking about business logic, he basically means taking that core data found in a database and actually doing things with it, whether it's updating a CRM record or sending out emails based on different criteria found in the database or anything. Any single piece of software that sits on top of a database, that is what he's talking about. All of that business logic is going to be compressed into the agent. The agent will be able to accomplish anything. And all you need to do is tell it what you want. Give me a graph of my top 5 customers by revenue. Okay, now write emails to all 5 of those customers telling them, I want to do business with them in 2025. All of this will just automatically be done, where previously it would take hard-coded business logic on top of the database. Now that's not necessary. You just tell the agent what you want, and it will either know how to accomplish it or write tools to go accomplish it on your behalf. And when I say tools, I just mean it's going to write its own code to interact with the database, to send an email, and so on. I want to thank the sponsor of this video, Chatbase. Chatbase is the ultimate platform for creating and managing intelligent AI agents for your business. They are designed to streamline customer support, generate leads, and enhance business operations. With integrations across websites, social platforms, and other digital tools, Chatbase helps businesses provide fast, consistent, responsive, and personalized interactions at scale. And it is powered by advanced AI models from OpenAI, Anthropic, and if you've watched real-time actions, so check out Chatbase today. Thank you again to Chatbase for sponsoring this video. And now back to the video.
And once the AI tier becomes the place where all the logic is, then people will start replacing the backends, right? People, and that's what, in fact, it's interesting. As we speak, I think we're seeing pretty high rates of wins on Dynamics backends, and the agent use. And we are going to go pretty aggressively and try and collapse it all, right? Whether it's in customer service, whether it is in, by the way, the other fascinating thing that's increasing is just not CRM, but even our, what we call finance and operations. Because people want more AI native biz apps, right?
Another thing that he clearly says is the backend doesn't matter. The agents aren't specialized in one type of database. They really don't care. So really, it's about building the database that works most efficiently with the agent, is cheapest, is the right for the right use case. So as an engineer or a data provider, you really just need to figure out what's the best database to use. And then the agents do not care. And so it's going to be interesting on how companies choose the database that they decide to use.
That means the biz app, the logic tier can be orchestrated by AI and AI agents. So in other words, Copilot to agent to my business application should be very seamless. Now, in the same way, you could even say, hey, why do I need Excel? Like, interestingly enough, one of the most exciting things for me is Excel with Python is like GitHub with Copilot, right? That's essentially, so what we've done is when you have Excel, like this, by the way, will be fun for you guys, right? Which is you should just bring up Excel, bring up Copilot and start playing with it, because it's no longer like, oh, you know, it is like having a data analyst. And so it's no longer just making sense of the numbers that you have. It will do the plan for you, right? It will literally, like how GitHub Copilot Workspace creates the plan and then it executes the plan. This is like a data analyst who is using Excel as a sort of row column visualization to do analysis scratchpad.
So he is saying, why do you even need Excel? And he probably has thought a lot about this, because really, what is Excel? It is a thin UI layer on top of a database. And of course, you can add a bunch of business logic and analytics. But here's the thing. What he's describing is essentially, if AI can write Python code to analyze the data, why do you need Excel at all? And he might be right. He probably is right. Why do you need Excel? If I need an analysis of a huge amount of data, I just say what I need. I just need to describe the end product. I need a graph. I need a chart. I need a 3D visualization. Whatever it is, you just describe the end results. You have the core data, the raw data, and then the agent writes the Python code to actually extract the right data and put it in the right format for what you asked. Now let's keep watching.
So it's kind of tools you. So the Copilot is using Excel as a tool with all of its action space, because it can generate, and it has Python interpreter. That is, in fact,
And by the way, when he says Python interpreter, that just means the ability to execute Python code.
a great way to reconceptualize Excel. And at some point you could say, hey, I'll generate all of Excel. And that is also true. After all, there's a code interpreter, right? So therefore you can generate anything. And so, yes, I think there will be disruption. But so the way we are approaching at least our M365 stuff is, one is build Copilot as that organizing layer, UI for AI, get all agents, including our own agents. You can say the Excel is an agent through my Copilot. Word is an agent. It's kind of specialized canvases, which is, I'm doing a legal document. Let me take it into Pages and then to Word, and then have the Copilot go with it. Go into Excel and have the Copilot go with it.
This is a fundamental change in how Microsoft applications work, and really any software as a service business. This is a complete restructuring of the entire industry. And for somebody who has been in SaaS for so long, it is so fascinating to watch, and companies are either going to adopt it and kind of evolve with the times, or they're going to die. There is no in between, and it's clear that Satya from Microsoft is thinking well ahead. He is already very invested into OpenAI. He already has the best model. He's already thinking about Copilot. Whatever you think about Copilot and its quality today, at least the structure, the architecture of how it's going to work in the future is clear and right, in my opinion. And so that's the whole video. And it's, again, only 3.5 minutes, but
And then I said, guest house? Don't you mean guest mansion? And he said, no, guest room. Classic poor people. Quite.
Oh, this poor I once knew, he kept bumping his head on the chandeliers of his trampoline wing.
Oh.
So he raised the ceilings instead of, oh, I don't know, lowering the floor.
I Why does every poor person do that?
I bet poor people vacation on this planet.
Right. And then I said, guest house, don't you mean guest mansion? And he said,
I'm like the dude that broke into where I worked a couple months ago.
Okay, where do you work?
I work at a dispensary down here on 6th Street.
Okay, and what happened there exactly? Like, did he look like Cam, John Dees, or D Madness? Oh, okay, it was a white dude. He was a white dude. Can you describe the white dude? He could be here. Let's find
No,
out.
he ain't no longer with us.
Oh, really? What happened to him?
Welcome to Texas.
Oh, wait just a cotton-picking minute. Did you find the guy? What happened here?
I'm watching the camera, and he had a crowbar in his hand. He started smashing the window out. So I took off, and we're upstairs. I was at the top of the stairs. He was at the middle, and I sprayed him. We had some other stuff that happened for legal purposes I'll omit. He left, and about a block over here, he bled out.
Oh, he died. Wow, that is our first admission of murder in the show's history.
I don't like the dude that broke into where I was.
Selling is getting harder, especially right now in 2025. The prospects are what?
The Joe Rogan Experience.
I want to know who kicked Khabib off that plane.
wait,
Isn't
what?
that
Crazy? Isn't
What,
that
I don't know what
crazy?
happened. What happened?
Some lady came up to Khabib when he was on the flight because he was in the escape row. Whatever it is. He was on a, what airline was it? It wasn't Alaska. It wasn't Alaska.
Okay.
No, it was something Frontier. So there's a video of it. It's crazy. He's telling her, I can do this. I'm by the state. Like, I understand English. I can speak English. And they kick him off the fucking plane.
Because he couldn't do the exit row thing?
Bro, it's crazy.
Oh, the verbal response. Why is he flying Frontier?
Later comes to me with questions. It's very rude at the very beginning. He's saving up his money, man. That's why he's not fighting anymore. He doesn't give a fuck. He doesn't care. The guy drives a Toyota.
Oh,
Even though I speak very decent English and can understand everything and agree to assist, she still insists on removing me from my seat. What was the base for that? Racial, national, or other one? I'm not sure. But after 2 minutes of conversation, she called security, and I was deplaned from this aircraft. After 1.5 hours, I boarded another airline and left to my destination. I did my best to stay calm and respectful, as you can see in the video, but those crew members could do better next time and just be nice with clients.
Pretty calm.
damn.
Very calm way to
Pretty
say it.
calm. He had to work so hard at the English on that tweet.
Yeah.
Just to be like, I can't
I
let
wish
Tom
I was
right
on
now.
that plane. I wish I was on that plane.
Maybe she was just a Connor fan.
I wish. Maybe she thinks John Jones is the GOAT.
Yeah.
She doesn't like this Khabib talk.
Yeah.
She always fuck off. I'm a John Jones fan.
That's the GOAT talk between those two.
It's weird when these super mercenary killers just can't win. He's like, I gotta just get off the plane. I can't beat
Some
you up.
lady.
Yeah,
some
some
lady
lady
that
has
rules in your
control over
country.
him. Meanwhile, he can beat up everybody on the planet.
It's really crazy when you watch it.
Removed
You
from the
could-
whole plane.
Yeah, you can
Wow.
play it if you want.
Wouldn't it just switch seats with somebody?
Damn.
She's saying they're not comfortable.
What? He should have just started swinging. Too bad she's not trans.
I understand that, but it's also up with their judgment. I'm not gonna do this back and forth. I will call a supervisor. You can either.
Wow, I don't get it.
Go ahead and escort you on the plane.
This is crazy.
Okay, I'll call a supervisor and then we're gonna have to go over it.
I mean, did Mike Tyson hit a guy on a plane?
Yeah, but that was a different situation.
I
The
can't
Mike Tyson
deserve
guy was a drunk guy that was fucking with Mike Tyson.
He deserves
At this point, he's like, yeah, call the supervisor. He'll know I saw him.
Well, not only that, he was calm and respectful. He obviously speaks English, and he knew. He said, "I'll assist. I'll open the door."
Fucking white ladies.
But people are crazy.
I sit in that fucking row. They put fucking
Yeah.
slobs in that row.
Yeah.
Would you love to be on that flight? Go, ma'am. Do you know who that is?
Yeah.
Like, do you know who that is? Like, just let me tell you who that is. Let me Google him real quick.
He's the eagle.
Yeah, Jesus Christ.
The only reason he's not killing you right now is because he's not in his own country.
Yeah. Oh my God. Imagine if she did that in Dagestan. They'd throw her in a hole. They got a hole just for liberal ladies. They just so weird.
Pile 'em up.
Honestly, relax.
It's fucking scarred.
They probably got a couple holes. I said, like, oh, that's a nice hole, bro.
If you live in a place where war was recent, they have no room for horseshit. You know, if you go to those Chechnya type places, like there's no room for horseshit. No room for horseshit. They're going old school. They kill gay guys. They do wild. Yeah, they do wild shit.
I think it's illegal to be gay.
Yeah, there's countries where it's illegal to be gay. They'll kill you.
Paradise.
Why are you gay?
The stimulus, as we know, is of infinite ambiguity, and ambiguity as such cannot be seen. The world we live in is the world of sense data, but the world we talk about is the world of physical objects. Ludwig Wittgenstein. A duality of content. What do we perceive? Part of what makes the study of perception so difficult is the fact that there is more than one way to characterize what we perceive accurately. On the one hand, you perceptually experience objects, events, and states of affairs. You see the deer crossing the road. You hear your friend doing the dishes in the next room. You touch the hairbrush. On the other hand, all we ever experience are those aspects of things that are visible, audible, and so forth. For example, how they look, or sound, or feel from here. Perceptual content has a dual aspect. There's the way experience presents the world as being, as it were, apart from your perspective. This is one aspect of its content. And there is the way the world is presented in experience, a way that also always incorporates some reference to how things look or sound or feel from your vantage point. So, for example, your experience presents you with the circularity of the plate, but also with the elliptical shape it presents from here, with the color of the wall, and also the way it looks with respect to color across the surface from here in this lighting. The sense datum theory, which descends from Hume's phenomenalism, insists that you are entitled to the more robust world-referring content. All your experience grants you is appearance. Kant and the ordinary language tradition of Austin and Ryle are scornful of the philosophical naivete that underwrites the sense datum theory. They insist that, as Strauss might have put it, the only veridical way to characterize your experience as it is given to you is in terms of the way it presents the world to you as being, say, as an experience as of a deer. The truth lies somewhere in the middle, as the discussions of earlier chapters suggest. The plate looks to be circular, it really does, and it looks elliptical from here, it really does. The wall looks to be uniform in color across the surface, and it appears brighter when it falls in direct light. A theory of perceptual content needs to acknowledge and account for this dual aspect of perceptual content. The inactive view can do this. The key developed in the accounts of perceptual content in chapters 3 and 4 is that perceptual experience is a way of encountering how things are, but it is a way of encountering how things are by making contact with how they appear to be. How they merely appear to be, plus sensory motor knowledge, gives you things as they are. What prevents this two-step account from collapsing into the sense datum position is the fact that there is no reason to think that appearances, how things look, sound, or feel, are sensations or mental items. How things look, for example, is precisely a feature of the way things are. Looks are genuine, relational properties of things. But looks are not relations between things in your mind. They are relations between objects and the environment in which you find yourself as a perceiver. How things look with respect to shape, for example, is a fact about the thing and a vantage point you may happen to occupy. To summarize, perceiving how things are is a mode of exploring how things appear. Perceiving how things are is a mode of is a mode of how things appear. How they appear, however, how they appear is, however, an aspect of how they are. To explore appearance is thus to explore the environment, the world, to discover how things are from how they appear. Is to discover an order or pattern in their appearances. This process of perceiving, of finding out how things are, is a process of meeting the world. It is an activity of skillful exploration. The discovery of appearances. We see by seeing how things look. The claim might seem to fly in the face of the fact that most perceivers can barely describe the perspectival shapes and sizes of things around them. A sensitivity to phenomenology, to how we naturally think about our experience when we have it and take it at face value, might seem to require that we reject the idea that perceptual awareness is in the first instance an awareness of perspectival qualities. Perceptual experience, so this line of thought goes, is transparent, as mentioned in section 2.9. To reflect on experience is to reflect on the world as it is given in the experience. In what sense are we really aware of perspectival properties? Are you aware that when you see the chair of its perspectival shape and size, Gombrich gives a suggestive example. Stand before the fogged up mirror in your bathroom after showering. Outline your head in the mirror with your finger. You will be astonished at how small the visual image of your head is, but this is the perspectival size of your head as seen in a mirror. Do we really want to say that whenever you see yourself in a mirror, you also see your head as having this occlusion size? You may be in the vicinity here of a genuine indeterminacy in experience. Is there a fact of the matter, we might ask, about how the plate really looks? Does it really look elliptical or really look circular? The answer ought to be there is a sense in which how things look depends on what you're interested in or what you ask, on how you probe. There's a sense in which there is no thought or interest neutral fact of the matter of how things look. It's relative. What is not relative, though, is the fact that one and the same experience debate must contain within it the possibility of at least these two readings. You must be able to shift between these two different ways of thinking about your perceptual relation to the plate. Perception is a way of finding out how things are from an exploration of how they appear. In this sense, appearances are based perceptually basic, as I argued in chapter 3. This is the truth of the sense datum theory. Our acceptance of this is in no way commits us to the idea that, as it were, our perceptual consciousness is confined to sense data. This is so because appearances are not merely sense data, they're aspects of how things are. Perception is an activity of learning about the world by exploring it. In that sense, then perception is mediated by appearance. On our account of perceptual content must acknowledge this. There can be little doubt that we do not normally reflect on apparent shapes, sizes, and colors when we look around. Our attention is typically directed elsewhere to how things are in this or that respect, but this does not imply that we are not sensitive perceptually. This does not imply that we are not perceptually precise. But this does not imply that we are not sensitive perceptually precisely to how things appear. Consider that normal perceivers are in fact quick to acknowledge with almost no prompting that there is a sense in which a circular plate looks elliptical as well as round, or that the nearer tree looks larger than the further one, even though one can tell they are the same size by looking, or that objects change colors as lighting changes, even though of course they do not actually change color. This shows, I think, that perceivers are implicitly familiar with perspectival properties and with the way that they vary as we move about in the environment. It is true that Gombrich's mirror case is somewhat astonishing, but this may have less to do with the perspectival properties than with the puzzling character reflections. Strikingly, when as children we are first taught familiar tricks of perspectival drawing, how to produce simple 3D effects, we have a striking aha experience, a feeling of satisfying recognition, something implicit was made explicit. Sean Kelly and Hubert Dreyfus have criticized our position and conversation as phenomenologically wrong-headed. See also Kelly forthcoming. There's no doubt Kelly reasons that we can detach ourselves from our familiar, engaged attitude and take up this sort of detached attitude that enables us to direct our attention to perspectival properties of how things look. The detached attitude you can reflect on the merely elliptical perspectival shape of the plate. Kelly and Dreyfus insist that it is a mistake to think that when you experience the round plate in the engaged attitude, you also at the same time experience it as elliptical. Similar points are made by Kelly about color constancy. You can now see the wall as uniform in color and as variable in color as a result of differences in the way it is illuminated, but you can't see it both ways at the same time. This seems exactly wrong to me. When you look at the wall, you see its uniform color in its evident variation in color across the surface. When you look at a circular plate held up at an angle, you experience the circularity in its merely elliptical shape. When you look at a tomato, you experience it as a full-bodied and three-dimensional, even though you don't see its sides or back. You experience its three-dimensionality in its visible parts. Part of what makes the study of perception so difficult is the necessity of acknowledging not only the dual aspect of perceptual content, but the prima facie conflict in perceptual content. The enactive view, as laid out in this book, seeks to take this problem seriously. There is a sense in which we move about in a sea of perspectival properties and are aware of them, usually without thought or notice. Whenever we are perceptually conscious, indeed, to be perceptually conscious is to be aware of them. This is perhaps what Wittgenstein had in mind in the epigraph at the outset of this chapter. Perhaps also it is a recognition of this fact that led Ruskin, on behalf of Impressionism, to claim that painting requires discovery of visual appearances. It is also important to underscore and to turn our attention to perspectival aspects of our perceptual content. It's no less to turn our attention to the world and so it is no less to think of experience as transparent. In both cases, we turn our attention to the world, but the world thought of in different ways. We are used to thinking about the world we perceive not as a domain for perceptual activity, but as consisting of or containing the properties and the facts that interest us. The fact that we rarely pay attention to the world as a domain of perceptual activity does not count against the claim that we inhabit it as such. To understand perception, it is necessary to bring into focus that the world we inhabit and explore as perceivers is encountered in the first instance not as housing those facts and properties of interest to us is encountered due to our practical grip on the world as mediating or as affording perceptual activity. In this sense, we perceive the world by perceiving how the world merely appears, what it affords us. It's worth reiterating that the claim that we experience perspectival properties is not meant to challenge the rival claim that we experience things as they are. Crucially, the encounter with the world as it presents itself to us is precisely the way we make contact with how things are apart from how they perceptibly appear to be to us to be. Two aspects of content. Okay, I feel like doing math now. This is a good balance. Just like read something. Alright, back to this. Let A be a monoid, the identity element E. Suppose that every element has a left inverse. Prove that for any element A and S, a left inverse is also right inverse. Where are my glasses at, bro? Hmm. It's just a little raw, but it's good. So good, so good.
Oh, we're still fucking hanging out.
That's a doozy. That's a doozy. I gotta paint more complicated structures and bathrooms in Florida. 1 goes to 2, 2 goes to 3. The fuck are you talking about? 1, 2, 3. Takes 1 to 2. Takes 2 to 3. It's fucking 3, bro. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. I don't understand, motherfucker. One, 2, 3. 1, 3, 2. How is that possible? If I put 1 in, I get 3 out. Okay, I'm seeing confusing syntax. If I put 1 gets mapped to 3. Let me think about this. 1 goes to 2, 2 goes to 3. 2 goes to 3, 3 goes to 1. 3 goes to 1. Goes to 2. 1, 2. Somehow it's supposed to fucking be. So damn, it's gonna take a minute. Alright, let me think about this. 1 goes to 2, 2 goes to 1. 1 goes to 2, 2 goes. Two goes to 3. 3 goes to 2. 3 goes to 1. 3. That's the identity, I guess. Yeah. Perceptual content, what philosophers call representational content, or how the experience presents the world as being, is two-dimensional. It can vary along a factual dimension in regard to how things are, and it can vary along a perspectival dimension in regard to how things look or appear from the vantage point of the perceiver. Visual experience always has both these dimensions of content. This corresponds to the fact that perception is at once a way of keeping track of how things are, and also of a relation to the world. Perception is thus world-directed and self-directed. Now, there is no general requirement that for an experience to be vertical, it must be completely vertical. You can succeed in seeing a spoon, for example, even if the spoon non-vertically looks bent, say because it is in water. And so likewise, there's no hard requirement that for a perceptual experience to be vertical, it must be vertical along both dimensions of its content. We frequently enjoy visual experiences that are prospectively non-vertical and factually vertical. This is the case, for example, when you spy on someone while underwater using a periscope. The experiences you have with the periscope represent how things are, but they misrepresent your relation to how things are. That is, they misrepresent the perspectival content of your experience. When you watch a live sporting event on television, you're able to track what's happening, but you do so in a perspectival, non-vertical way. Perhaps you adopt the standpoint of one or more cameras. Crucially, you don't correctly or vertically experience the event's spatial relation to yourself. It would be dogmatic to deny that you genuinely see the sporting event and that you see it through or by means of the television cameras. But it would be just as dogmatic to insist that there is no difference whatsoever between normal perception in the here and now and televisual perception. The difference is one that is now easy to explain. When you witness events in person, your experience is tracked not only how things are, but also how things are in relation to you. For an experience to be vertical simpliciter, then it is for the vertical along both factual and perspectival dimensions. But I have already drawn attention to the fact that verticality is not sufficient for perception. Just as things are two dimensions along which an experience can be vertical, so there are two dimensions along which it can be vertical hallucinatory. Things can turn out to be the way they seem, even though their seeming that way is independent of the fact that they are that way, and that can turn out to stand in the relation to you in which they seem to stand, even though your relation to how things are has no effect on how they seem. For an experience to be not merely vertical, simpliciter, but generally perceptual, simpliciter. What the fuck does vertical mean? What does veridical mean?
Veridical means truthful or corresponding to reality.
It's pretty clear that what requires, as far as the factual content is concerned, that things would have looked different had they been different. But what does it require as far as perspectival content is concerned? The answer is at hand. It requires that had one's relation to how things are been different, things would have looked different, even if how things in themselves are were unchanged. It requires, therefore, that how things look depends in a fine-grained, closely coupled sort of way on movements. We need a further development. We need a further movement dependence requirement to the effect that how things look depends in a counterfactual supernal way on movements of the relevant type. When you take your experience at face value, you encounter it as raising questions not only about how things are, but how you stand in relation to how things are. To be a perceiver, then you must understand implicitly that your perceptual content varies as things around you change, and that it varies in different ways as you move in relation to things around you. Causation in perception. I gotta start building models. I gotta make some money on my app. Non-verticality. God, so stupid. 1 goes to 2, 2 goes to 3, 2 goes to 1, 3 goes to 1. Why is this so fucking confusing? 1, 2, 3. 1 goes to 2, 2 goes to 1, 2 goes to 3, 3 goes, which goes to 3. 3 goes to 1, which goes to 1. How do I represent that? 1 goes to 1, 2 goes to 3, 3 goes to 2. It's 1, 3, fucking 2, right? No. 2 goes to 3, 3 goes to 2. 2, 3, 3, 2. So 2 goes to 3, 3 goes to 2. So just 2, 3. Oh, I'm not fucking doing this. So she wrote for this morning.